Hi guys, today I wanted to share with you another 12 by 12 process video, and this time I am using one of the Scraptastic kits, one of the older kits. I believe it is the October 2014 kit, which is Heart It Races, I think. I think that's the right one. I could be wrong on that, but I believe that's the right one. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking a white background on this one, and then I'm going to add different layers of paper and such to the photos. So this was actually one photo that I had, and I took the photo and cut it in half so I could do kind of a little wonky setting on them. It was kind of a boring photo as far as like the background and stuff, so I want to chop some of that out and just give a little more interest to the photos. So I just cut the photo in half so that I have one picture on the one left hand side and one on the right. And then I'm just basically taking the pattern paper that came in the kit and making like a little shelf that those photos can stay on. And this is a picture of my daughter and her friend, and we have a race that we go to which is called Flat as a Pancake, and they always come with us. And one year my daughter actually went in the walk with us, but this particular year it was just me. I went and did the 5K by myself. And so the girls just kind of hung out and waited for everybody to finish. So that is kind of what the pictures are of. And my daughter used to go to the same sitter as the other little girl. So they've been friends pretty much since Allie was about a year or so. So that's kind of the background, their little history. So what I'm doing here is I'm just taking those photos and I'm mounting them on a black piece of cardstock just because I thought they made them pop out a little bit on the background. And I wanted to do these photos like this too because I was kind of getting bored with just the one single photo just kind of sitting there on the page. And I thought this mixed it up just a little bit, but still using the design principle of having that like shelf there that holds the photos. And that strip that says like loud, live with passion, that type of those types of phrases, that I believe was part of the branding strip of one of the pages, and I just trimmed that up and it wasn't quite long enough, so because the photos hide it, I just cut it in two pieces and then made it extend to the left and to the right. And then that piece of paper right there is just a scrap that I had left over, and I added that as a background just to kind of ground everything, the strips and the photos and all that. And here's one of the ephemera packs. I believe this is from Teresa Collins. I don't remember which line it is, but I believe it's a Teresa Collins line. And I'm just going to take this and try to figure out kind of what I want to do. And I'm going to end up using that little, what are those things called? Not viewfinders. Oh, is it called viewfinder? I can't remember what that's called. Anyway, I used to love playing with those things when I was a kid. My mom, I think, still has her old one. It's metal, and it has like John Wayne and the Lone Ranger and things like that on it. It's so much fun to look at. I think that's at my grandma's house, but I remember these. What are those called? Oh, that's going to bother me. Maybe I'll remember by the end of the video. If someone remembers what those things are called, I think they're Viewmasters. I think that's kind of what they're called. Anyway, comment below if you know what those are called, so I can remember if I don't remember by the end of this video. So here I'm just going to be playing with the die cuts in this pack, trying to make something work in the top left corner, and then I'm also going to make two different embellishments, one where that number 2 is, and then one kind of to the left of the photos. So here I'm just trying to layer the different items up, and because I'm terrible at committing, I haven't glued anything down yet, and I probably should have glued the butterfly strip and the other strips down because they keep moving, and of course that's annoying me. But again, I'm afraid that I'm going to want to change my mind, so I probably should just at least tack them down, but I don't, and I will glue them down a little bit later. But I should just do it, just commit, because usually it never moves. I think I said that the last time when I start doing this, I usually don't move them around too much. Very rarely do I completely disassemble everything and start all over again. So, but I don't know. I'm just phobic, commitment phobic. So here I'm going to try to use that little flower that is the wood veneer flower. And then those banners, they say happy and today. And I believe I'm going to be using the happy banner. I think that's the one I end up using. I have actually put this layout away. I didn't have it out for this video or for this recording. So, or maybe I use both banners. I actually think I use both banners. So here I'm just going to be looking through the flare. This is flare that's exclusive to the Scraptastic kit. They create this flare, so it's neat to get that kind of personalized pieces. I'm going to try to use that butterfly, and it's going to end up just not working on this page, so I'm going to scrap that idea after I try a couple times. And I'm going to move on to some other items. And I'm going to end up putting in some background to this white paper. It was a little bit too stark for me, so in a little bit you're going to see me doing that. But first I'm just going to continue to play with the layers until I get something that I kind of like on this page. And that Teresa Collins pack really came with quite a bit of die cuts and things like that to use, so that's really good. So I had a lot of options. Good in the sense that I had a lot of options, but also since I do have a lot of options, I fiddle and play with it a lot before I figure out exactly which ones to use. So in just a second here, I'm going to finally start committing to these layers. I finally decided, well, you know, I'm not going to move these around anymore. And then moving around is really bothering me. So I'm going to end up just start gluing this down. And then I'm going to end up using the other piece of the viewfinder in a different layout so that only that one piece in the bottom or the top or the right hand side is going to stay. So here I'm finally taking my ATG gun and gluing these pieces down. Again, just to add a little bit of layering. I think I still work on my layering as far as adding all the little pieces in. I think Kitty Scrapper does a really good job of layering. She really can stuff a whole bunch of layers in and make it look really awesome, and I think that's something I do struggle with. I like to put the layers in, but I don't seem to tend to use quite as many as she does. So I am working on that because I do like when she uses a lot of those layers. So if you haven't already checked out her videos, I think most of you guys probably have seen her. Please do so. Her name is Kitty Scrapper on YouTube, and her name is Nancy, and she just has some great videos. Not to mention her personality is awesome, so she's really fun to listen to. So like I said, I'm just going to be gluing these photos down and all the little pieces, and then once I have all these glued down kind of to that background circular pattern paper, I'm going to end up putting a little bit of a homemade background, I guess if you want to call it that, to the white paper, because as much as I really want to do a simple layout also, I like the layering, but I also want to do simple layouts. I have problems when it's just a stark white background. I usually tend to start that way and not do anything with it potentially, but then I always end up adding something to it. So you're going to see that in just a little bit. And here I'm just adding the little pieces. That flower, I was having some struggles using those flowers, and I was finally able to use one of those on this layout. I really like them a lot, but for some reason it just never quite seemed to be the right shape. So it's going to actually work on this layout, and then with the Happy and the Today banner, it's going to kind of make up that triangle shape. So here I'm just going to glue that down. And then the number 2, I always have problems using numbers on the layouts too, but with them being 2 girls, I thought, well, that's perfect. 2 girls, the number 2, it works. I can use up a piece of the embellishment pack. So I'm just taking my Stampin' Up! Dimensionals. These are kind of a thinner foam pop-up, and I'm just trimming them up so they fit on the back of this too. It's going to go on top of the wood veneer, so the part that is not going to go on the wood veneer, it just needs to be popped up so it doesn't sink in. So that's just kind of what I'm doing here, is adding that in. I highly recommend those Stampin' Up! Dimensionals. If you don't like a lot of thickness in your layout, it gives just the right amount of thickness, and for whatever reason I just like the octagon shapes more than like the squares and stuff. I don't know why. No real good reason. I just like the octagon shape, I guess, because it's kind of fun. So here I'm just trying to figure out what to do in that top left corner. And I'm going to play with that a little bit. I'm going to end up coming back to that and changing that up a bit. And I think that's pretty much what I was doing earlier. I'm not sure. I'm thinking right now. I'm at a crop in this one, so sometimes I'm talking to the people around me, so sometimes it takes me a little bit longer. I'll pause and stop, and I try to remove some of those things from the video, but right there I probably was talking to somebody. So I'm just using my fine liner adhesive bottle to add down the wood veneer just so I didn't move it, and this fine liner bottle is perfect. I absolutely love this bottle. I think the one with the yellow tip, I can't remember if I said this before in a video, but the one with the yellow tip works the best, I think. It is a slightly larger gauge of tip, and I think it works better with the Scotch Dry adhesive. It doesn't, it's not as hard to squeeze, so I would recommend the yellow tip for the Scotch Dry or the thicker glues. The blue one that I've seen people use, I think it's a bit smaller gauge, and I think it's going to be a little more cumbersome to work for the layout. So here I'm just going to use that, and I love how it kind of sticks in those background layers and things like that, and then you can really get the glue into those places. So here I'm going to take my white background and mix it up a bit, and I'm going to use that favorite technique of smushing the mist on using some plastic packaging. So here's just my little swatch cards for my mist. Sometimes it's really hard to tell the color of the ink looking at the bottle, so I'll make a swatch for all of my mists, and I use that to try to determine which one I'm going to use. So Cosmopolitan Pink from Lindy's Stamp Gang, and a bit O Bubbly are the two colors I'm going to use. So I'm going to shake those up and then use that plastic packaging and just give some color to the background. These are I think somewhat soft colors. They don't have a whole lot to them, but it just adds a little bit to the background. Again, because the plain, it just doesn't work for me. So I'm going to just mush some color on there a little bit just to add a little bit more texture, and I think it kind of gives a little bit of dimension to the layout. So I'm going to put that ink in the bottom part where the main photo cluster is going to go, and then I'm also going to put some of it in the top left where that other embellishment cluster is going to be. So like I said, I'm just mushing it on, and then I dry in between the colors so that the colors don't run together too much, so you have the distinct look between the two colors. I've found that that kind of works the best. So I'm just using my heat gun. And then I'm going to put some black splatters, and this is in the Heidi Swapp Black Color Shine. And I really need to get one of those Tim Holtz dryers. That dryer I have, it's just for embossing, and it does get awfully hot, and it kind of warps my mat and things, and I'm hoping if I got the Tim Holtz one, it wouldn't warp my mat and I wouldn't have to hold it up. If anybody's used those and you have some experience, let me know. I'm hoping that I can use them against that rubber mat and that not have any problems with my rubber mat bubbling up and things on me. So if you guys have used that Tim Holtz dryer, let me know. I would like to hear some feedback on that one. It seems like a lot of people like it, so I think it probably is a good choice. So here I'm just trimming out the cardstock. I want to mount that because I've been doing this a lot lately. I think you've seen on quite a few of my videos. I just think it kind of keeps your eye into the page and doesn't let your eye fall off the page when you mount it like this. So this is just some black cardstock that I had in my stash, and I'm just going to mount this 12 by 12 white piece of paper to that. It also helps a little bit with the buckling, not a whole lot, since I'm really just using the outside edge of the black cardstock and I cut out the middle. So it doesn't do a whole lot for the warping, but this one didn't warp too much because I did use that plastic bag, and I didn't use a whole lot of stain or a whole lot of spray. So here I'm going to glue this down, put that on, and I just really like that. I don't know, it just is a little bit better, I think, than having it with the white background by itself. So I'm just going to trim off that edge using my Tim Holtz scissors, and then I'm going to start adding in the top left embellishment cluster. And I'm going to use that happy banner. That was also a Scraptastic exclusive that came in this particular kit. I'm going to use some homemade enamel dots to add a little more texture to this layout. And so hopefully you guys are having a great summer so far. I know it's not too far in the summer, but it seems like summer goes so fast. School starts so early around here. I remember when I was a kid, school started after Labor Day, but my daughter's school starts so early. So it feels like summer just flies by, and so we're like already, quite a bit into it. So hopefully you guys are having a great summer. You got to do some fun things and all that good stuff. The more things I can do outside, the more fun I can have in the summer. It kind of makes the winter not so bad because I can have something to look forward to. But here I'm just adding in some of those enamel dots, those homemade enamel dots, and I always use my glue dots to put those down because I think that's really what helps them stick the best. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to add on a title for this, and it's just going to be Shelby and Allie. Allie, I think, yes, Shelby and Allie. And this is those glitter kind of thickers. They're kind of a pink thicker that has a little bit of a newsprint on the background, and then it has this pink kind of crystally chunky glitter. So I'm going to top it off with that, and that pretty much is going to wrap everything up. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you have any questions for me, please leave them below. If you haven't already, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up if you like this video. And like I said, have a great day, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Bye bye.